my spiritual mother, and she brought me over, and this brother, I never forget the day. The brother came into the room, and he walked in, and he was going to just teach me just a little short lecture about the mission of the Messiah. And he started. And here's this crazy looking, wild looking dude, all from the streets, you know. And I'm listening to the dude, and the brother is talking, and he'd say, and Jesus didn't come to die, I would say. Like that. And I end his sentences. And he was looking at me like, yeah. He'd never seen anybody like that. Because he was blowing my mind, but it was like everything he was saying was just resonating with my soul. But the thing that blew my mind most, and because I didn't know Jesus didn't come to die, just something didn't feel right. And so when I heard it, and I really understood it, it just broke my heart inside. I mean, like, broke my heart. I think I cried for like 2 days just trying to figure it all out. I mean, it hurt, man. Deep down inside, it hurt because it meant my whole family, everybody I knew, right? My preachers, my Sunday school teachers, my grandma who raised me, my grandpa everybody I knew that drove me to church when I was little, right? Didn't understand this point, right? And I was, how's that possible? So what I'd like to do today is I'd like to share with you not only the story and the lecture of the mission of the Messiah, what Christ comes to do, why Christ comes, what's the idea, what's the plan, what happened. But also I want to share with you a lot of biblical references that not only testify to this fact, but prove it, in my opinion. Okay? And the Bible just packed with words from Christ himself and others that just absolutely make it crystal clear, and that definitely wasn't God's original plan. And I hope I can illustrate that for you today. So, thank you for your attention. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to talk about the cross because I don't know how many songs are written about the cross. The old rugged cross. You know. Everybody's wearing crosses, right? Churches got crosses on their steeples, right? What about the cross? I believe the reason why Jesus came to all of us is to do this one thing. To restore this fallen world back to God's original idea. Now, the divine principle illustrates that, and I'm going to do this real quick, okay? Like this. The divine principle illustrates that basically like this. This is Satan's world. Mankind and women created a false love relationship centered on his love. Created children. The kingdom of hell centered on the devil. Okay? That's what the divine principle basically says. Because of the fall, the world we know and the paradigm that exists today is a world that is dominated and controlled by the devil, Satan. Mankind created families centered on him, have children that are connected to him. This is his kingdom. That's the world we live in. The divine principle says that the Messiah comes to restore God's original ideal. A world centered on God, man and woman, having true love, right? Having true children, creating the kingdom of heaven on earth. And this process we call restoration. It's the process of restoration, or the process of salvation. Okay? Restoration restoration equals salvation. So the Messiah, what he does, the Messiah comes to restore this back to God's ideal. So when we say that he comes as a second Adam, here's the reason why. He comes to restore everything that Adam failed to do. All the three blessings. He comes to do it all. That's what the Christ comes to do. He comes to establish a world that is God's. Jesus was supposed to establish the kingdom of heaven on earth. And it, by the way, it says the kingdom of heaven first on earth. What does that mean? He didn't come to create the kingdom of heaven out there somewhere in some kind of ethereal world that we can't see. He came to become the first true man, find the first true woman, establish a true family, true parents, kingdom of heaven on earth. Then that man and that woman and their descendants would go into the spirit world, and the spirit world would reflect their nature. Make sense? So this process we call the process of, history of restoration. God working through Christ to restore, and all the prophets and everyone to restore his original ideal. Now we know that Jesus actually went to the cross, right? We know this. Because he died. He was nailed to a cross. The story is really, But the question I got for you is this one. Did Jesus' crucifixion fulfill the purpose of creation? Did the purpose of restoration, the providence of restoration that I'm talking about here, was this fulfilled? Well, of course not. I mean, it's black and white, really, right? But that you can't just end there. Okay, I can say that and that'd be good. You get it, right? But you gotta be able to answer the why of it all. How come? What happened? If it had fulfilled the purpose of creation, then faith believers in Jesus would be able to, they would have restored their original nature, and they would have built the kingdom of heaven on earth. Y'all see the kingdom of heaven on earth? Out there? Me too. If going to the cross would have brought about the kingdom of heaven on earth, well, then, awesome. But everybody knows heaven's not a place you will see here, and everybody knows this. That's someplace we go later, right? And even that's a little bit of a fairy tale. You know why? Jesus didn't say anything about him going to heaven either. When he died on the cross, he talked about paradise. But we tend to put words in Jesus' mouth that he didn't say. So, entire history of Christianity, listen to this. No one has been born, right? No one, not anybody, no matter how devout, no matter how faithful, no matter how pious they might be. No one's ever been born that was one with God, that didn't need a Savior. Well, if Jesus had done it all and the cross did it all, then why are we still giving birth to children who are sinners? Tell me that. Nobody's ever been able. Look, we all need redemption, right? And nobody's ever been able to give birth to a child that was separate from sin and didn't need a Savior. No one's ever done that. We still transmit original sin. And that's not all we transmit. We transmit hereditary sin. The only sin we're not transmitting when a child's born is personal sin. You know, when I hear people say, well, I don't want to bring a child into this world, I kind of understand that. I mean, I brought 5 into this world because I believe there's a better place for them. But if people knew what the heck they were doing, you think they'd keep doing it? I don't think so. There's no perfect people out there. Let's just be straight out. And nobody is operating out through their original nature. That you see glimpses of it, but by and far, the rest of the world is... the divine principle says we have a problem with mind and body unity. Father used to tell us that all the time. Mind and body unity. The problem is you have no mind and body unity. First blessing, mind and body unity. First child, mind and body. Absolutely right. But I would like to suggest to you that we don't necessarily have a problem with mind and body unity. What we have a problem with is mind and original mind and body unity. We don't have a problem with our carnal mind, our fallen mind and body unity. We're doing that real good. You get me? The problem is, and you know why this is important, why I think it's important, it's not talked about too much, but why I feel this is very important? Because when someone says to you, you got a problem with mind and body unity, you're thinking to yourself, now let me see, my body does exactly what I tell it to do. I think the lecturer is mistaken or confused. No, he's not. Problem is, because we know that we think and therefore we act, we don't think we have a problem with mind and body unity. Because we can make decisions that we follow through on, we don't think we have a problem with mind and body unity. What we're trying to say is, the mind that God gave you, your original mind, your original nature, you're disconnected from it. Or it's so weak within you that it doesn't have any power to control you. Because your fallen mind has become so strong because that's the mind that's being exercised, and that's the one we unite with. Over centuries of time, it's become stronger and stronger, and it's almost as if the original mind doesn't exist. But the good news is, the original mind does exist. You have an original mind. Every human being does. And all we have to do is exercise that, and we can regain control. Problem is, we just don't do it. And we don't know how. So, look at this situation. I want to suggest to you a few things about what the disciples said about the cross. Okay? The 12 disciples. This is what they had to say about the cross. Ready? How many of y'all know? Well, it says it right here. Stephen was the first martyr of the Christian church. Okay? In the book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 51, this is what he says. And he's talking to the Sanhedrin, the leaders of the Jewish church. Right? And he's on trial. Because he's a believer. Right? He's on trial. This is what he tells them. Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears. You do always resist the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit, as your fathers did, so do ye. Which of the prophets have you not your fathers persecuted? And they have slain them, which showed before the coming of the just one. That means the Messiah. O whom ye have been now the betrayers and murderers. In other words, I'm talking about the just one, the holy one, the Messiah. By the way, the very same one you crucified, the one you murdered, the one you betrayed. Does that sound like Stephen's happy about Jesus' death or upset about it? Does it sound like people did God's will or maybe misunderstood Christ and did something wrong? Of course. Listen to what it says in Luke 19:44. And all shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another. Okay, now basically, what this is a prophecy of the total and utter destruction of Jerusalem. Okay? And the prophet here is saying that there won't be one, they're going to tear this dang place apart because of you. It's going to be torn asunder, and guess what? It's going to rip this city apart so bad that not one block, not one stone will even be sitting on top of one another. That's how bad it'll be scattered. Because why? You didn't know the time of your visitation. You didn't know when Christ came to you. Matthew 23:37. O Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets and stonest them which are sent unto thee. How often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and ye would not. This is a scripture where Jesus himself is speaking. He's looking over the city of Jerusalem, and he's saying,